I am amazed at the hypocrisy of how black gay people can go off about another black gay person voting for Trump. These same black gay people say nothing about how black gay people talk about each other's health status on this app called Bingo. Yeah, Miss Glad, I haven't gotten to you yet, but this is one of my points. Glad and platforms like them will literally go after straight people, calling them homophobic, transphobic, trying to cancel them, but baby, they are so silent when it comes to the filth that is produced on the Bingo app. For a community to be so oppressed and bullied, have you seen the amount of bullying and viciousness the gays have towards each other on this app? It's all over YouTube. Insert sarcastic tone. What a great representation of the LGBTQIA community these fine people are. Oh my God. There's a YouTube broadcaster named Walter. He is always addressing the madness that is going on in ATL's gay community. I am so glad that I came across this video years ago. That's why I never moved to ATL and have not been since 2007. You don't have to tell me twice, and what he says is all confirmed on the Bingo app. Baby, some of these queens even go through great lengths to find out your business. Certain hosts or supporters work for the government and they get access to people's information to sell it for money. Some of the hosts hire hackers. This is when they say, I pulled your file, to get people's medical information so it can be broadcasted. Some of these queens are in the ballroom circus scene that I will give my opinion on further on in the book. The scene that is supposed to be a safe haven for gays to show each other love and support, but in all actuality, they show each other mace, tables, and chairs, guns, and all kinds of violence. By the way, I did not vote for Trump, but I do believe he was a better president than Joe. Many black gay people will get mad at me for saying what I just said and then proceed to bring up how Republicans are trying to take away rights from gay people. I understand all of that, but what I don't get is how some of these people feel so strongly about this election stuff. But it's okay to disrespect each other. It's okay to have your supporters gang up on another gay or trans person to start gang stalking them. Is it okay to have these gay supporters calling a gay person's apartment complex, making up lies to get that gay person kicked out of their home? I wonder, could that impact that person voting? Because baby, ain't nobody thinking about voting if they are trying to find a place to stay. Is it okay to have the gay supporters calling another gay person's elderly grandparents, harassing them? Yeah, all of this is going on the gay side of the Bingo app, as well as fighting, drama, all kinds of just bullying and viciousness. If you don't believe me, just pull it up on YouTube. And like I said, I don't get how some of these gays get so upset when they hear about a black gay person that voted for Trump, but they don't get upset at the violence within the ballroom circus scene or the health reads and death reads on the Bingo app. And I believe they just had somebody in the ballroom scene that cut somebody in the face. And I believe it was at a ball. Also, there's a big problem with this community being used by straight people for financial gain. I really don't like these gay for pay dudes that be on Instagram. If you are a cis woman reading this, when you see all these buff guys working out on Instagram with their shoes off, showing their feet, they're not doing that for you. The majority of women are not sucking on no man's feet or toes. I am not saying it doesn't happen. That is why I use the word majority. Having a foot fetish is normally a male thing, and a lot of men as a whole do have a foot fetish of some sort, whether they are gay or straight. Think about it, ladies. Sometimes when you have sex with some man, he will suck your toes. That is because having a foot fetish is a male thing, and you know I do my research to back what I'm saying. Hold on, let me show you. So there's the link. Here's the link. menshealth.com/sex-women. You see the rest. This was a study done by Justin Lehmiller. I'm going to call him Dr. J for short. Alright, so there was a study done by Dr. Justin Lehmiller, research fellow at the Kinsey Institute and author Tell Me What You Want. While conducting research for his book, Dr. J surveyed more than 4,000 Americans about their sexual fantasies. Among other things, he asked about fantasies pertaining to feet and toes. How common are foot fetishes? It's hard to say exactly how common foot fetishes are, Dr. J says. According to Psychology Today, they're among the most common sexual fetishes. The best source I can cite would be the data I collected for my book, Tell Me What You Want, Dr. J says. I found that 14% of my participants reported having had a sexual fantasy before in which feet or toes played a prominent role. It's important to note that just because someone has fantasized about feet before doesn't necessarily mean that they have a fetish for feet, just that they've been turned on by the idea of feet at least once, he adds. So while about 1 in 7 people reported having had a foot fantasy before, the number of people who have a true fetish for feet in the sense of being primarily or only attracted to feet is likely much smaller than that. The man even broke it down by percentage of who likes feet the most. So what I'm looking at here, 5% of heterosexual women, in parentheses, told you the majority of women, especially black women, are not sucking toes, baby. They like, get someone else to do it. 5% of heterosexual women, 18% of heterosexual men, which prove, in parentheses, I put, which proves what I said about when straight men suck women's toes while having sex with them. So 18% of heterosexual men, 11% of lesbian and bisexual women. Even the lesbians are like, no, babe, I cannot keep the strap secure and suck your toes. So only 11% of lesbian and bisexual women. So 5% of heterosexual women, 18% of heterosexual men, 11% of lesbian and bisexual women, 21% of gay and bisexual men. Ding, ding, ding. Well, what do we have for them, Johnny? So if you are wondering why this love of feet has become more popular, it's because having a foot fetish was taboo at one point in time. Ladies, you do need to be careful. If you see him posing and working out all the time with his shoes and socks off, then he goes to post videos on Instagram. Most of the time it's because he's trying to get the support of the gay community. Some straight men even have feet pages on Fans Only. They just want the money. I think it's a shame how a gay for pay man Fans Only page will blow up with the support from the lgbtqia community, but the same community will barely support their own. Then have the nerve to say people like me suffer from internalized homophobia. But what better way to show that they have internalized homophobia by supporting people that they know that they will never get, but in their weird little mind, one day they'll be able to turn this man. But they won't support their own. Wouldn't that be internalized homophobia? So it's the challenge of wanting what you cannot have, and a little of what I like to call wanting to turn straight into gay. It's very sad. This is one of the things I was talking about with the whole gay for pay. Straight guys making money off of gay men. And I don't give a damn, you are gay. If you having sex with men for money, you are gay. When you're having sex with a man, you are gay. If you're getting your penis sucked by a man, you are gay. I'm not about to sit up here and play with your little fantasies and all of that. You're gay. But I honestly can't totally blame the gay for pay men, because if people are dumb enough to fall for what they clearly know is not interested in them, then what can I really do? It would be different if these guys were lying and saying that they are gay, but no. They make it very clear that they are straight. Some even have the nerve to turn around and bash gay men after they got their coins, money, from gay men. So to me, it gives desperation, and I am not talking about the gay for pay guys. These are the behaviors within the community that go ignored by certain people within the community, like the host of a certain black gay dating show. I was watching his show one time, and he had a young man on his show that voted for Trump. You should have seen the way the comments were bashing this man. I get the whole, well, it's a show and the comments make the show. I get that. But I have watched a few of the previous episodes of the show as well. I can no longer deny that some of our own black gay people are just flat out bullies to others within the community. Now, the Libra truck driver dude that he had on his show brought up Joe Biden's 94 crime bill, which is a great point. One of the dumbest responses I had seen in the comments was, "You were barely born in 94." My response to that is, well, his dad or his uncles were not just born in 94. How do we know if his father wasn't harassed? Which is, I'm not alluding to that because I don't even know any of these people personally. But what if this man's father was arrested during that time period? That would have greatly impacted him. So we can't just relegate his argument down to, oh, you were too young to even be affected by the 94 crime bill. There were others that got up there and started naming all these senators, one of which I spoke about earlier. But yes, they got up there, started throwing names around, saying, well, they're trying to take our rights away. Now, at the end of the show, the comments get to rate the person that was being interviewed. I have to call it out because I had seen where the man had got 2 other 10s besides mine, but the host would not call the 10s out and had the nerve to average the man at a 5. He did say he got an 8 from someone, but for the most part, he was only calling out the low numbers because the host is biased, very biased. To me, it just showed the overall hypocrisy within the LGBTQIA community. There is a serious issue of bullying, competition, and the need to feel better than the next person in the LGBTQIA community. Most do not care how we treat each other, even though we have all faced some form of hate. You can't even joke anymore because this community has become so sensitive, but that is a tactic. Another time, on one of his previous shows, there was a Taurus man that came on to shoot his shot. He was really tall and stocky, football player build, not my type, but seemed to really be cool. I thought he was a nice guy, but as soon as this man said he was a spiritualist, oh my God, the comment section swarmed him like bees. I felt so bad for this man. The comments went in on this man, calling him the devil, accusing him of practicing witchcraft, even though this man said nothing like that. One comment was so ignorant, watch out for his spaghetti sauce, or it was something ignorant like that. This is a man and he doesn't produce menstrual cycle blood to put in spaghetti sauce, allegedly in order to control the husband. But I guess it's okay to misgender him though. The blood and the spaghetti sauce is a voodoo practice that some ignorant fool was trying to be funny, but was actually being a bully. But hey, in this LGBTQIA community, it's okay for us to tear each other apart, but when heterosexual people do it, they should be canceled. This is a community that hates to be disrespected, but literally gangs up on one individual within the community for having a difference in opinion. Now, before I move on, because I'm getting off topic, actually I plan to talk about this further in my book, but oh well. I want to address a comment that the host said after he interviewed the black gay truck driver that voted for Trump. The host said, quote, "Sometimes society picks us to choose a part of our identity, right? So they say I'm a black man before I'm a gay man. I'm under the different belief I'm a black gay man who's a Christian, right? And there are intersections of my identity that pinpoint who I am, and I can't choose like gay issues over black issues over men issues for men. I just want equity for everybody. And I feel like if I don't play the weighing game, like I want everyone to be winning, and if someone is trying to hold back a group of individuals, it's hard for me to support them." End quote. That's what he said verbatim, by the way, word for word. Okay. First of all, you're a Christian, but you allow all this bullying to go on in the comments. What about the other black gay Christians? I wonder how do they feel about the tearing each other down with the health/death reads that goes down on the bingo app, as well as the gang violence that is heavily displayed within the ballroom circus scene, as well as the bingo app. They just had a major fight at the Bingo Gala Awards. With the behavior shown in these gay scenes, I understand why the Most High wanted sodomites removed from the land. They both were speaking about two different things. It was like watching two ships pass each other. The host was speaking more of the decisions and laws that are made in the Senate rooms based on the votes of people from whatever party. This is important too, but it's not as important as what the trucker was saying. I don't think the host was even getting what the trucker was saying. The trucker was speaking of the racism and the lynchings of black men, in parentheses, gay or straight, because we are not being lynched because of our sexuality, that goes on outside of those Senate rooms. I agree with the truck driver. The truck driver did bring up how the same people in those Senate rooms today passed certain laws that targeted us as black people in '94. These laws empowered these white officers to continue doing what they have been doing for years, parentheses, even up until today, to black men and women regardless of their sexuality. I get what the host is saying, but he is not seeing the bigger picture, which is black people as a whole, lives hang in doubt every day we step outside and get into a vehicle, taking the chance of getting pulled over. In certain areas, all you have to do is step outside and you can be stopped for whatever BS story they will use in order to search you. They are looking for a reason to put us in jail because we as a whole are a source of income for the private prison system in the United States of America. There are all kinds of reports one could research. It's truth. We have to make it to the polls in order for us to vote for the right people. Keywords, we have to make it. I understand where the trucker is coming from because I live in Minneapolis. We have Philando Castile, George Floyd, Dante Wright, Amira Locke, and a few more that have all been victims of police officers. Rest in peace to them all and respect to their families. The trucker was speaking more in terms of when those white police officers are approaching a black man's car or a black man period or woman. They don't know if he or she is gay or not. Even when you look at the host of this dating show, he looks very masculine with a whole beard. All they see is his color first. They don't see his sexuality, which is a more important point than what the host was speaking about. And here's why. The man is a trucker in Texas. He deals with racist white state troopers that probably pull him over on a daily trying to stop him from obtaining his goal. When these white troopers pull him over, they don't know he is gay unless he tells them, just like with me, just like with the host and the rest of black men and women. They see his color first. And it has nothing to do with him being masculine because Sandra Bland was not masculine and neither was Breonna Taylor, respectfully. This attack against us is bigger than our gender and our sexual orientation. How do I know this? Because I just proved it in this book. It's about our bloodline. These people know who we are by blood because they have studied us for years. So it's regardless of our sexuality. They want us dead, gay, or straight. The comment that the host said doesn't apply when a white police officer pulls us over. When a black person is born, they don't know if that child is gay. The child doesn't even know at that point, but guess what everyone in that room sees first? The baby's skin color. So that whole statement is a crock of shit. Believe it or not, that statement from him and men who think like him is one of the reasons for this very chapter. In the black and brown gay community, you have two types of individuals. The first type are people like myself who don't wear their sexuality on their sleeve, meaning sexuality does not define who I am as a person because it is a behavior. The second type is men who think like this gay dating coach. These are people who cannot separate their sexuality from their race, meaning they wear their sexuality on their sleeve. My sexuality is a very small part of me. For me, I'm not having sex with a man 24/7, and as of today, I am not even sexually active, period, and have been celibate for quite some time. Now, in my opinion, it is different for transgender people because they make physical changes to their bodies majority of the time. Whether they get the full surgery or not, today, the majority of trans do take hormones or receive some sort of treatment. I have always believed that transgender people should have their own community because it is not the same as being a male/female who is gay/lesbian. To me, being associated in a community with them has always been kind of offensive to me because I don't have issues with my gender. I know what gender I am. Whether what trans people believe is right or wrong, I have always felt they should have their own community. When the trans protection laws were passed, I did not benefit from any of the laws because I am not trans. You cannot deny we have different beliefs. I mean, I do not believe I was born the wrong gender. I came across a TikTok video of a woman who transitioned into a form of a man, but he still has sex with men. So to most people that were commenting, they were like, wait, so you was a woman that became a man to have sex with men, so you still straight then, sis. I'm happy for him and whatever he decides to do. Hey, it's his life, but I am speaking in regards to the community as a whole. That is not the same belief that male/female, gay/lesbian, or even bi people have. I never understood how the two was even allowed to be in the same community. And please don't act like some of you trans don't sit up and say the same thing I am saying, just vice versa. I have seen trans people say they do not deal with the lgbtqia community because they don't feel that they are gay. They identify as a straight woman, meaning they want a straight man, and hanging around the gays will only clock their tea. Gays and lesbians are not identifying as the opposite gender, so to me, this is not the same belief and should not even be grouped together. Trans people should have their own community and take the non-binary, non-gender conforming folks with them because, baby, that sect is some confusion. Now, I want to make something clear. I do empathize with the trans community when they say they feel they were born in the wrong body. It's a medical condition called gender dysphoria. I do not agree with how this medical condition has been glamorized and pushed on children by the Jewish elite. I do not agree with pedophilia. I do not agree with pedophilia. I empathize, but I do not agree, nor am I disagreeing with them when they say they feel they were born in the wrong body, although I do have my opinion on it. I am saying that their overall belief is not the same as a cisgender male slash female that is gay and lesbian. It's actually completely different. Side note before I go on. I know I just said cisgender, but in my personal life, I don't subscribe to all them pronoun stuff. I don't. I'm not about to call you they, them if I only see one of you. I will call you by whatever name you want me to call you. So if your name is Andy, then I'll just be calling you Andy. But I won't call you they, them if I see you're only one person. Now, outside of my cousin, like I said, if you trans, I respect your pronouns. I respect you. But other than that, yeah, the they, them, I'm not, it's not going. So, I'm going to go ahead and reread this. I empathize, but I do not agree, nor am I disagreeing with them when they say they feel they were born in the wrong body, although I do have my opinion on it. I am saying that their overall belief is not the same as a cisgender male slash female that is gay slash lesbian. It's actually completely different. Therefore, I feel the trans community should have their own community with their own laws, in parentheses, that they already have. Now, it's the gender non-conforming and the non-binary people that I don't understand. In my opinion, a lot of these new gender terms are just confusion to explain confusion when they can't validate their arguments by dealing with the facts of science and biological genetics. In the definition for gender nonconforming, it literally says it's a behavior. The keywords I had seen are behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits, meaning this is spiritual. When I looked up the definition to non-binary on dictionary.com, it stated non-binary people have a gender identity that does not fit into the male slash female binary. Okay, that's all good, but there's nothing scientific about these gender roles as far as these theories being able to be proven genetically to say, oh, I was born this way. I will never forget how I was watching some folks trying to explain what non-binary means. It was on a show on the Bingo app. The show was hosted by one of the best ballroom scene house fathers, in my opinion. Congrats on 20 years, bro. I love the way he supports his kids. You can visibly see the support whenever he is at a ball. Like I said, I do not hate the ballroom scene, but I do have my views just like anyone else. Everyone in the scene is not a wild animal. I loved his show because I was actually able to learn about the scene in general.